by the time we get done repurposing and recycling and remanufacturing everything that we've already done, we're gonna have a whole different society. A resource-based economy and manufacturing, because stuff still has to be manufactured. Well, obviously a big part of that's robots, but also think of the way society is arranged now, where you have like these isolated areas around the world that, you know, manufacture stuff. Then these other places that like do all the designing. Well, I really envision stuff like this as a huge complex that kids and adults are all there, just doing and learning and just all kinds of stuff. And like, I mean, these would be like the schools, but it's beyond that in a resource-based economy, because the whole thing is based on public health and knowledge, right? So these institutions, or whatever you want to call them, are kind of where everything happens. Like, I imagine the depending on like the region, like in dense city type areas where people are a little more packed in, that stuff like this could be, you know, in a complex of buildings, and agriculture would be a part of it, and manufacturing's a part of it. Now you got to think, manufacturing in a world where there is no product obsolescence isn't like a necessity currently that we're working with. Like right now, it's like, oh, we need to have all this stuff manufactured because people have to buy stuff so other people can work, so these people can do this and that, and it's just this whole giant revolving thing that's really not a great idea because of the waste involved in a free-for-all. For instance, okay, so we're talking about manufacturing. I invented this concept in forest fires, which I'm starting to think I'm going to start to push a little more again now that I have more free time. But so I have this idea, like, hey, let's end forest fires, right? Well, in our current system, I would need money, large sums of money to build this thing, and like, this is like something that the government level should be doing, not just some dude, right? But no, they don't. But now the difference between that and a resource-based economy is my idea. I would go on to it's not like the web is such a mosh of crap in the future. There's just, you know, few things. Everything else is running in the background. So I would have gone to the, you know, and depending on the level of my capabilities, I would have gone to this site where everybody in the world congregates and shares ideas. And I would have said, hey, look, I got this idea. I want to attack the forest fires at their inception, before they have a chance to get big. I want to send fleets of drones out to every single lightning strike and put out the fires before they have a chance to get big. You know, people would have gone, oh, hey, that's a freaking smooth idea. And you know, I had this idea, and then I looked into it, and another guy has had the idea, at least one other guy, and I'm sure there's other people as well. But coming together and bringing people together and all that stuff, you know, it's in a capitalist society, you know, everybody is all, what's in it for me? Well, when there is nothing except the end of forest fires, it's not like there's a lot of benefit. Capitalism doesn't have the mechanism. You know, if you come in and you go, okay, we're going to end forest fires right now, there's this whole infrastructure for battling forest fires, and you know, it's it's all in place. And, you know, you put this thing out to the people, the engineering people would grab onto the idea and start to fiddle around with it. Everybody that would start to contribute their own experiences, their own knowledge to the thing before there was even a prototype. Technology is so jumping fast. Like, you know, for instance, in the drone world, we were looking at working with batteries to power this, but there was some cutting edge technology that was just on the horizon about hydrogen fuel cells. So, and everybody contributed their ideas. This tech can advance, and problems could be solved like this. Like, it's like, okay, this guy has an idea, he puts it out here, people start talking about it, communicating on it, and it starts to happen. When the AI gets involved, it's basically like one of those situations. Like, so this example is kind of a different example because it's something that's going to end forest fires. So, like, the resources allocated for drones to end forest fires would have a whole different algorithmic blah 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 in the AI. Like, the AI would look at this in a whole different manner versus, like, you know, drones for freaking people just to go have fun and race, or photography and all that stuff. There'll be that, but it's like allocating money. You know, there'll be drones for people to race and drones for people to do photography with and all that type of stuff, but, you know, they'll be on a whole different scale. You know, they'll be like available, like everything. Like, everybody doesn't get their own drone. They go to the drone racing place and race the drones that are there. You know, if you want to build one and do that and have it as your own, I mean, it all depends. You know, everybody can't have their own everything. You know, I was into drones for a while. I want to get another drone here eventually, but I don't need a drones just sitting around, you know. But if somebody was like a really avid drone racer, and they, you know, I mean, that kind of situation, yeah. I mean, it's not like we're trying to, you know, we're trying to have the coolest place ever. And if the resources are there, then there's no reason why. And that's really where the only answer no comes from, is if, you know, if it's going to harm people, or if we don't have the resources to do it without harming people. Which, you know, oh sure, there's plenty of blah, but we got to dig up blah, and that'll put so much blah into the blah, and it's just all bad. So no, right? But, you know, like, oh, we can harvest an asteroid. Yeah, we can do that now. Everybody can have a drone that wants a drone, or whatever it may be. I'm just using drones as a overall example for this, where in a firefighting drone, it would fall under a completely different situation, because it's not just like for somebody's fun and enjoyment. It's protection, you know. It's like protecting us from an actual thing that's a problem that this planet has, is forest fires. Now, the planet used to have fires naturally, but the trees were a lot bigger, and it would just burn the undergrowth, and it wouldn't really kill all the trees. It wouldn't get up in the canopies and wipe stuff out like crazy like these fires do. They were a lot smaller, because the whole way the ground has been dealt with under our capitalist land policies, a lot of the water's not doing what it should be doing when it lands in the form of rain. So, you know, people will come together. Everybody needs the communication device, and I see no reason why that couldn't just be like a rite of passage. You know, most of the parts are stamped out by computers, so there's no reason why it couldn't be a rite of passage, like for kids. Like, they put together their first smartphone when they're like 5 or 4 or something like that. I mean, kids are gonna blow resource-based economy, somebody with my level of intelligence is a complete idiot. Like, the level of education, like, people are just all smart, well-educated, with the best education. Not the cheapest, crappiest, the best, because it's just every single person. That's the most important thing, is education and making great people. So you don't chintz on education on anybody. Therefore, you're just going to have brilliantly smart people. No reason why 4-year-olds can't be building their own smartphones. It sounds a lot better to me than having like this whole special factory with nets around it to catch the suicidal people that just sit there day in and day out building everybody else's smartphone. They can't even afford one themselves. Yeah. No. Let's redesign society in a way that is intelligent. And what we're battling in the resource-based economy is we're battling this incarnation of capitalism, is this dude's idea. So this dude, and really it's banking that we deal with, that really is kind of like one of the biggest succubuses. I speak about succubuses. It's the banking and the fractional reserves and the federal reserves or fractional reserve banking. Yeah, it's just all bad. And that's where all the money and the power, well, literally like one dude, he had 5 sons, he sent the sons out, and that was Rothschild, okay? So this guy Rothschild had this idea. Now, we don't know how much empathy this guy had. All we know is he had a plan on how to run the world, but his plan had nothing to do about taking care of anybody but his own. And I just think when you're living on a plan set up by a guy who set that plan up just to benefit his own, you're just working on a bad plan. It just doesn't, it's a great plan for that crew, but that crew is like, probably can't even see the like sliver of distance between my fingers as a percentage of the human population. So yeah, manufacturing is done mainly by robots, but then it's also done by the people who are going to use the products. And we have a lot of stuff already. By the time we get done repurposing and recycling and remanufacturing everything that we've already done, we're going to have a whole different society that's arranged in completely different ways around completely different things. Ooh, there's a sign that says fun. I wonder how much it costs to have fun. That's what it's all about. You got money, you're gonna have fun. No, resource-based economy, that's all it is fun, 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 and then some work that's like maybe actually fun as well. Like, oh, we're going to the fields to pull the strawberry crop in, and we got strawberry cider, woo woo, and good times, whatever. So, yeah, manufacturing in a resource-based economy is done locally, collaboratively, internationally. Certain projects, like the ribbons to space and stuff like that, because that's going to be a lot of manufacturing.